So in this section, we are going to have discussion of EEG, that's electroencephalography, and sleep. So in the first section, we are going to discuss EEG. Now, we all know that there is continuous electrical activity going on in our brain. So this electrical activity can vary with the depending on the type of activity that we are doing. So this continuous electrical activity of the brain, it can be measured or it can be recorded with the help of a technique which is called as electroencephalography. So this electrical activity can be measured by using the apparatus of EEG around the skull. So the activity is occurring in the brain. However, some part of activity can be recorded around the skull, and the activity that's recorded by the help of EEG is the overall activity or the summated action potential of all the action potentials in the brain. So the overall activity is measured with the help of EEG. Now, the record that we get after measuring the electrical activity of brain is in the form of waves. So these waves are called as EEG waves or brain waves. So the electrical activity of the brain measured with the help of EEG is in the form of waves called as brain waves. Now, there are various types of brain waves depending on the activity of the brain. So the electrical activity of the brain, it's as I already told you, it's not constant all the time. So the activity depends on the type of activity we are doing. For example, we can be relaxing, so the EEG will show a different pattern. While sleeping, it's going to show a different pattern. If we are thinking or attentive towards something, or if we develop a focused attention, for example during exam, the patterns of waves in EEG in this case are going to be different. So brain waves are going to change depending on the activity that we are doing. Now, an important point of historic significance is Hans Berger. He was the psychiatrist and the first person to measure EEG waves. So the first person to measure EEG waves was Hans Berger. Now we'll have discussion of different types of brain waves that are measured using EEG. Before that, let's briefly go through all this. So EEG is a technique of recording the electrical activity around the skull, which is mainly the electrical activity of the brain, and it records the overall activity or the summated action potential of all action potentials going on in the brain. So the record that we get is in the form of a wave pattern, and these are called as brain waves or EEG waves. And the first person, and it depends on the activity that we are doing, and the first person to record EEG was Hans Berger, who was a psychiatrist. Now let us discuss different types of brain waves that we get in EEG pattern. So brain waves, they are classified into 5 main types, and this division is based on the frequency of these waves. So whenever we take EEG of a subject, depending on the frequency of waves we get, these waves have been classified into 5 main types. So let us try to understand these 5 types of brain waves by comparing them with each other and by comparing their properties. So these are 5 columns for the 5 types of waves. So let us start from the highest frequency to the lowest frequency. So the first wave that I am going to discuss is a wave which has highest frequency. So the EEG pattern will show very high frequency. However, the spikes will not have a high amplitude. The amplitude will be mainly low. However, the frequency will be very high. These waves are known as gamma waves. So the waves with maximum frequency in an EEG, they are known as gamma waves. Let us say this is duration of a second. So the frequency, as we can see, is very high. It means the activity of the brain during this time is maximum, and the frequency is around 60 hertz. So these waves are known as gamma waves. Now let's move to second type of wave, again in the decreasing order of frequency. These waves are known as beta waves. So their frequency is lesser as compared to gamma waves. So let me try to draw these waves. So as we can see, the frequency is less as compared to gamma waves. However, the amplitude is slightly higher than the gamma waves. So if this is duration of a second, frequency is a bit low. So their frequency is around 13 to 30 hertz. So this is the frequency of beta waves. Now the next type of wave, again in the decreasing order of frequency, it is called as the alpha wave. Now the frequency of alpha waves is going to be lower than gamma and beta waves. So let me try to draw an alpha wave for you. So these are alpha waves. The amplitude can be higher than gamma and beta waves. However, frequency is lower than both of them, and the frequency is typically between 8 to 13 hertz. So this is the frequency of alpha waves. The next type of wave that we are going to discuss is the theta wave. Now, first of all, let me try to draw the theta waves. So this is how a theta wave would typically appear in an EEG. The frequency, okay, in this diagram, frequency appears to be similar to alpha waves, but it's less as compared to alpha waves. It's only 4 to 7 hertz. And the last type of wave is called as the delta wave. So delta wave, it has the lowest frequency among all these waves. So as you can clearly appreciate, the frequency is very low. So frequency is between 1 to 3 hertz, and this wave is called as the delta wave. So the least frequency wave is the delta wave, and the wave with maximum frequency is the gamma wave, and the frequency of gamma wave is 60 hertz. Okay, now we'll try to understand other aspects of these waves and when these waves are observed in EEG and what is the origin of these waves. So let us start from the alpha waves. Now alpha waves, they are seen in the relaxed state. So if a person is relaxing, however, the person should not be sleeping, the person is just relaxing with his eyes closed but not sleeping, then the wave pattern that's seen is the alpha wave pattern, and the frequency is between 8 to 12 hertz. Now these waves are also called as inattentive in waves of inattention. So the person is relaxing, person is not paying attention to anything, so the waves of inattention are the alpha waves. The origin of these waves is the parietal cortex. So these waves originate from the parietal lobe of the cerebral cortex. Now the next type of wave that we are going to discuss is the beta wave. Now, a person who was initially in a relaxed state, his EEG showed alpha waves. Now, if we ask the person to think about something, to pay his attention towards something, the wave pattern is going to change from alpha to beta. So, these are the waves of attention. These are also the waves which are mostly seen in the awake state. So, these are known as the awake state waves. So they are seen in the awake state. The origin of these waves is in the frontal cortex, because when we pay attention towards something, we perform the function of cognition, and which is mainly done by the frontal lobe of the cerebral cortex. So the origin of these waves is in the frontal cortex. Now moving to the next type of wave, that's the theta wave. So theta waves have frequency less as compared to alpha waves. These waves mainly they originate from the hippocampus. However, the origin can sometimes be other than hippocampus. So the waves which actually originate from the hippocampus, these are known as specific theta waves. The waves, theta waves which originate from hippocampus, they are known as specific theta waves. And the theta waves which originate from some other source other than hippocampus, they are known as non-specific theta waves. For example, they can be seen during sleep. We'll discuss it later. So the main function of hippocampus is the consolidation of memory. It means hippocampus is responsible for converting short-term memory into long-term memory. So while performing the function of consolidation, the type of waves that we get in an EEG pattern, these are the specific theta waves. Now another type, so that is the reason why theta waves are also called as memory waves, because they are mainly associated with the hippocampus, which performs the function of consolidation of memory. Now let's move to the next type of wave, which is called as the delta wave. So these have least frequency, because of which these waves are also known as slow waves. Now these waves are mainly seen in the deep sleep, that's during the sleep, NREM sleep. So these waves are known as the deep sleep waves or the slow waves. Now Now let's move to next type of waves. These are the gamma waves. So gamma waves, they have maximum frequency. It means the activity of brain will be maximum during this time. So these waves are seen at the time of focused attention. So we already discussed beta waves are seen at the time of attention. So focused attention means when the attention is completely towards a particular thing. For example, during an exam, we are completely focused towards the paper. The brain activity is very high during this focused attention. So the type of waves that are seen, these are the gamma waves. Now let us briefly go through all the key points. So alpha waves are mainly concerned with relaxed state, beta waves attention state, gamma waves focused attention, theta waves with hippocampus, that's consolidation of memory, and delta waves are associated with deep sleep. Waves with maximum frequency are the gamma waves 60 Hz, and waves with minimum frequency 1 to 3, these are delta waves seen during deep sleep or NREM sleep. So now let us discuss the sleep. So physiology of sleep, if we talk about sleep, the sleep cycle in humans, it consists of two parts. So the first part is called as the non-rapid eye movement sleep, or the NREM sleep. This is called as non-rapid eye movement sleep, and the second stage is called as the REM sleep, or the rapid eye movement sleep. So so initially when we sleep, we go into NREM sleep, and then this will be followed by REM sleep. Now, REM sleep is called as rapid eye movement sleep because during this sleep there is rapid movement of eyeballs. So, because of this reason, this is called as REM sleep. And in non-rapid eye movement sleep, as the name says, there is no movement of eyeballs. Now, non-rapid eye movement sleep is seen in stages. So, NREM sleep is seen in stages, and there are 4 different stages in NREM sleep. So, these are stage 1 NREM sleep, stage 2 NREM, stage 3 NREM, and stage 4 NREM. So from the name, we all can easily uh, understand that initially we're going to stage 1 NREM, then this will be followed by stage 2, that will be followed by stage 3, and finally stage 4. So initially stage 1, then stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and from stage 4 we go into REM sleep. Now stage 1 NREM sleep is also called as N1 stage. Stage 2 is called as N2. Stage 3 and stage 4 together they are called as N3. Now these two stages are together also called as deep sleep because during these stages the person is in the deepest states of sleep. So they are known as deep sleep. And from stage 4 the person goes into REM sleep, and then the cycle is again repeated from REM again to stage 1 and REM sleep. Now we'll discuss the stages of sleep in detail and the events which occur during these stages. So initially N1 stage, from N1 stage the person goes into N2 stage, from N2 stage N3 stage, that is deep sleep, and from deep sleep to rapid eye movement sleep. So REM sleep, and from REM sleep the person goes back to N1 stage. So this is one cycle of sleep, and the duration of one cycle of sleep is 90 minutes. So one cycle of sleep lasts for 90 minutes, and again the whole process is repeated. Now let us discuss these different stages starting from the N1 stage. So N1 stage, as we all know, it is the stage 1 of the NREM sleep. So stage 1 NREM sleep is called as N1 stage. Now this stage, if we record the electrical activity of brain during this stage, the frequency of the waves that we are going to see in EEG is going to be between 4 to 7 Hertz. Now if we take a look at the EEG chart, frequency 4 to 7 Hertz, it coincides with theta waves. So these are going to be theta waves. However, as already discussed in the section of EEG, theta waves can have, most of theta waves have origin in the hippocampus, so they are specific theta waves. However, these are associated with sleep, so these theta waves are known as non-specific theta waves. They are known as non-specific theta waves. So the frequency of these waves is 4 to 7 Hertz, and they are known as non-specific theta waves. Now from N1, then the next stage that is followed is the N2 stage. Now N2 stage is the stage 2nd of NREM sleep. So if we take the EEG of the subject, the frequency of waves is going to be between 8 to 12 Hertz. Now again, if we take a look, the 8 to 12 Hertz, it's the frequency of alpha waves. However, we also discussed alpha waves are not produced during sleep. In this case, the person is sleeping, so these waves are similar to alpha waves, but these are not alpha waves. Okay, they are not alpha waves. They are just similar to alpha waves, and their frequency is similar to alpha waves because alpha waves are not formed during sleep. Now these waves, they are characterized by certain patterns in their waveforms. So these patterns are the K complexes. Certain complexes are seen called as K complexes, and the sleep spindle. So certain waveforms appear in the shape of spindles, so they are known as sleep spindles. So K complexes and sleep spindles are the characteristics of stage 2 and REM sleep. Now again, stage 1 NREM sleep, when the person goes into stage 1 NREM sleep, it's the transitional state. So from awake state the person goes into sleep, so there is light transitional sleep during stage 1 NREM sleep, and the feeling of drowsiness mainly because the person is going to sleep now he's going into the deeper parts of sleep. Stage 2 NREM sleep is mainly there are K complexes and sleep spindles, and other than this, when the person goes more deep into the sleep, then certain chemicals are released in the brain, and these chemicals are responsible for blocking all the senses. So the person will not be able to hear, the person will not be able to smell. So that occurs during stage 2 NREM. Now, from stage 2, that's from N2, the subject goes into N3, that is stage 3 and stage 4 of non-rapid eye movement sleep, together called as the deep sleep. So stage 3 and stage 4 NREM sleep, also called as the deep sleep, because the person during these stages is in the deepest parts of the sleep, deepest stages of the sleep. Now, if we take a look at the EEG pattern, the waves that we get, they have frequency of 1 to 3 hertz. So this is the frequency of delta waves. As I already told you, delta waves are found during NREM sleep. So these delta waves, so these are the delta waves, and they are also known as the slow waves. So due to this reason, deep sleep or N3 stage of NREM sleep is also called as slow wave sleep. Now, after N3 stage, the person goes into rapid eye movement sleep. Now, the details of rapid eye movement sleep will be discussed in a different section. And one more important point, during N3 stage, the maximum amount of growth hormone is released. We all know that growth hormone is released more during sleep. It's during this N3 stage, maximum amount of growth hormone is released. And the duration of N3 stage is maximum in the first 1/3 of the night. From N3 stage, the person goes into REM sleep. So REM sleep is called as rapid eye movement sleep because during this stage there is rapid movement of eyeballs, and it's during this stage there is revitalization of memory by the brain, and the dreams are likely to occur in this stage, and the activity of brain is high during REM sleep, and dreams are likely to occur during this stage, REM stage. Now REM stage will be discussed in detail in a separate section in few moments. So this is one cycle of the sleep, and the duration of one cycle is almost 90 minutes. Now any cycle which repeats after each 90 minutes is said to follow ultradian rhythm. So sleep cycle is an example of ultradian rhythm. Now in this sleep cycle, the N1, N2 and N3 stage, that's the non-rapid eye movement sleep, it lasts for almost 75% of the total duration, and rapid eye movement sleep lasts for about 25% of the total duration. And among all the stages, it's this N2 stage, that is the stage 2 of non-rapid eye movement sleep, which is for the maximum duration, that's 45% of total sleep duration. Now let us discuss rapid eye movement sleep in detail. So REM sleep is called as the rapid eye movement sleep, and the reason is because during this stage there is rapid movement of eyeballs. Now, this leads us to a very important question, that's why is there rapid movement of eyeballs? Why do suddenly eyeballs start moving? Now, the answer to this question is the eyeballs start moving because of certain action potentials which are known as PGO spikes. So, PGO spikes, they are responsible for the movement of eyeballs. So, they are the reason for the movement of eyeballs during REM sleep. Now these PGO spikes, they are responsible for stimulation of magnocellular pathway, which arises from the magnocellular layers of the thalamus. So so stimulation of this pathway causes movement of eyeballs. Now while discussing the section of basal ganglia, we discuss various layers in the thalamus, and there are two pathways which emerge from these layers. One is the magnocellular pathway, other is the parvocellular pathway. This magnocellular pathway is mainly associated with the movement of eyeballs, and that means contraction of extraocular muscles, and parvocellular pathway plays a role in the color vision. So it's this PGO spikes which cause stimulation of magnocellular pathway, and that results in the movement of eyeballs. So this is responsible for movement of eyeballs during the rapid eye movement sleep. Now PGO spikes, the origin of these spikes can be traced from the name itself. So P for pons. So these waves, they initially go from pons to the lateral geniculate body of the thalamus, and from lateral geniculate body they go to the occipital cortex. So from the names P, G and O, so they are known as PGO spikes. So these PGO spikes stimulate magnocellular pathway which causes movement of eyeballs. Now, if we take a look at EEG pattern of the subject during REM sleep, the frequency of the waves is going to be between 30 to 30 hertz. Now, if we take a look at the chart of different waves, so these waves coincide with the beta waves. So these waves are going to be beta waves. However, in the section of EEG, I mentioned that the beta waves are seen during attention and awake state of mind. So here the person is sleeping, but still the EEG pattern of the person shows beta waves. So beta waves are normally seen when the person is awake, so in the awake state. However, during rapid eye movement sleep, the EEG of the person shows that the frequency of waves is between 13 to 30 hertz. That means it coincides to the awake state of the body. That means the subject is actually sleeping, subject is in the REM sleep. However, the EEG of the subject in REM sleep shows that the person is in awake state of brain. The waves are similar to awake state. It's due to this reason this REM sleep is called as paradoxical sleep. So again, the person is actually sleeping, but the EEG pattern shows a pattern which is similar to the awake state. That is the reason REM sleep is called as the paradoxical sleep. Now, there are some other events which occur during REM sleep other than the movement of eyeballs. So, let us briefly try to discuss these things. So there is atonia of the muscles of body. So there is atonia of most of the major muscles during REM sleep. However, the exceptions are the diaphragm, that is the respiratory muscles, and the extraocular muscles. Obviously, because there is movement of eyeballs, so extraocular muscles cannot undergo relaxation. So there is atonia of major muscles. Another important point is that there is enlargement of genitalia. So for example, in males there can be erection of penis during this stage of that's during REM stage. Another important event that occurs during REM stage is there can be certain frightening dreams or terrifying dreams which are known as nightmares. So nightmares can also occur during REM sleep. So these are various events which occur during REM sleep: movement of eyeballs, nightmares, atonia of muscles, and enlargement of genitals. Now, nightmares, these terrifying dreams can also occur during NREM sleep. Now, if terrifying dreams occur during NREM sleep, they are not called as nightmares, they are rather called as night terrors. So, night terrors are associated with NREM sleep and nightmares are associated with REM sleep. Now, there are certain unusual things which can occur during sleep. We need to know in which stages of sleep these things occur. So, we'll discuss them separately under the headings and NREM sleep and REM sleep. So, sometimes the person can undergo sleepwalking. So, sleepwalking, the technical term is called as somnambulism. So somnambulism is mainly associated with NREM sleep, and if we want to be more specific, it occurs during the deep stage of NREM sleep, that is stages 3 and 4, sleepwalking somnambulism. Now, sometimes the person can also do sleep talking. So sleep talking also occurs in NREM sleep. Nocturnal enuresis, it can also occur during NREM sleep, and some other things can occur during NREM sleep like bruxism. So bruxism means grinding of teeth during sleep. So the stage of sleep in which this occurs is the NREM sleep, and it's mainly associated with emotional deprivation in certain children. So it's called as bruxism. Now, nightmares in NREM sleep, night terrors. So terrifying dreams which occur in NREM sleep, they are known as night terrors. Now, in REM sleep, the nightmares occur, as already discussed. That's terrifying dreams in REM sleep are called nightmares, and uh, sometimes the not sometimes most of the times the dreams they occur during the rapid eye movement sleep, and sometimes a disorder called as narcolepsy occurs, which this narcolepsy occurs due to mutation of certain receptors which are called as orexin receptors. So orexin is a substance released by hypothalamus and acts on orexin receptors causes wakefulness. So mutation of these receptors leads to narcolepsy, and it is a disorder of rapid eye movement sleep. It is associated with rapid eye movement sleep. So there's another technical term used for night terrors, so they are also known as panornocturnals. Now, so we discussed different events which occur during sleep, that's during REM and NREM sleep. Now, let us discuss the regulation of sleep. So, for the regulation of sleep, there are different types of areas which are present in the brain. Now the areas of the brain which are responsible for wakefulness of a person, they are known as wakefulness promoting areas, and the areas of the brain which are responsible for inducing sleep and promoting sleep, they are known as sleep promoting areas. So we have wakefulness promoting areas in the brain and sleep promoting areas in the brain. So the function is quite evident from the names itself. Now let us discuss the wakefulness promoting areas first. So we all know in the brainstem, a part of brainstem is called as the reticular activating system. Now fibers from the reticular activating system can either go in the upward direction to higher centers or in the downward direction. Now if this is the cortex, so this is the cerebral cortex, the fibers which go from reticular activating system in the upward direction to the cortex, so this system is called as ascending reticular activating system, and this system is responsible for stimulation of cortex, and this stimulation keeps the cortex awake. So the neurotransmitter here is the norepinephrine. So norepinephrine is responsible for stimulating different areas of cortex and it keeps the person awake, so it's called as a neurotransmitter of arousal. So it's the first wakefulness promoting area. Now second wakefulness promoting area, it is present in the lateral hypothalamus. So the area of the lateral hypothalamus, uh, it promotes wakefulness. Now this area, the neurotransmitter for this is the orexin, and this orexin exerts its function through the orexin receptors. So sometimes there is mutation in the orexin receptors, so as a result the action of orexin is not executed, and that results in excessive sleeping, and that's called as narcolepsy. So this is another mechanism which promotes wakefulness. So now another area of the brain, again it's located in the hypothalamus, in the posterior hypothalamus. It also promotes sleep, and the neurotransmitter here is histamine, which exerts its effect through H1 receptor. So if we go H1 agonists, they are useful in promoting wakefulness. So histamine, it promotes wakefulness. Another area is the raphe nucleus. The neurotransmitter here is serotonin. It also promotes wakefulness. So these were all the wakefulness promoting areas. Now let's move to sleep promoting areas. So the first important sleep promoting area is the sleep center itself, which is located in the hypothalamus, in the preoptic nucleus of the hypothalamus. So stimulation of this area is going to promote sleep, and it's going to induce sleep in a person. So it's the first sleep promoting area, preoptic nucleus. Now second sleep promoting area, it is present in the nucleus basalis of Mayernet. Nucleus basalis of Mayernet. Now it is another sleep promoting area, and the neurotransmitter here is the acetylcholine. This nucleus basalis of Mayernet is located in the basal part of the forebrain, and the neurotransmitter here is acetylcholine. It is responsible for inducing sleep. Now another sleep promoting area, so again the sleep mainly associated with the Mayernet nucleus, is the REM sleep. Another sleep promoting area is the pineal gland of brain itself. As we know, it's responsible for release of melatonin. So we all know melatonin is released more during night time, so it is responsible for promoting sleep. And agonist of melatonin, it means a substance which performs function similar to melatonin, is called as remeltion. So it's a melatonin agonist, and it can also be used for inducing sleep. Remeltion, it is used to induce sleep in subjects. So these were various sleep promoting areas. So this was the regulation of sleep, the wakefulness promoting areas, and the sleep promoting areas. Sometimes, so normally in a normal person, balance should be maintained between these two areas, so that there is continuous change between sleep and wakefulness. However, if sleep promoting areas are overactive or wakefulness promoting areas are underactive, then the person sleeps excessively, and the person is said to be hypersomniac. It means the person will sleep excessively, and if wakefulness promoting areas are overactive, then the person will not be able to sleep. It will result in various insomnias. So this was all about the physiology of sleep.